16831 Halldale, 3-unit property. And I've been getting a lot of questions. It's a new listing that we just took, and people have been asking me, is this a good investment? Well, let's run the numbers. That's what I say. And I have some notes here. And this video is specifically for anyone who has interest in this property. It's a 3-unit property in the city of Gardena. And I just want to give you guys my perspective on the deal and why I believe it is a good property. Not for everyone, but this is a specific buyer in my opinion. And I'm gonna just lay the land for you guys all. First and foremost, what I like about the property is that it is in the city of Gardena, right? It's the South Bay. There's plenty of tenant demand, a lot of tenant demand over there. Secondly, guys, do not miss this point. This property is being delivered vacant. All 3 units will be delivered vacant. I've heard horror stories of people who buy multifamily in Southern California and they have to pay cash for keys, up to $25,000, $30,000 per unit, guys. So the fact that you're buying a property and it is being delivered vacant day one is a huge advantage, huge incentive on this property. You get to start repositioning it right away. You don't have to delay 6 months to get the tenants out, plus additional expenses. Another thing that I like about this property is the unit mix, okay? What is the unit mix? Well, how many bedrooms are in each unit? How many bathrooms are in each unit? So this consists of 3 units. One of the units is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's completely detached, right? It's a house, essentially it's a house. And the rear 2 units are on top of each other. So there's one at the bottom and another one on the second story. And those are 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So it's a great unit mix. It calls for sticky tenants. And what I mean by that is they're not 1-bedrooms where tenants turn over quite often, but 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, usually the tenants stay there longer, which is good for you because you don't have any vacancy. We don't want vacancy. We want consistent rents coming in monthly. Okay, so that's what I personally like about the property. Okay, but let's go into the numbers of the deal here, because this is where it all really comes together. All right, so asking price for the property. Let me put the property address first. It's on Halldale. Okay, like I mentioned, it's a 3-unit, 3 units. Will be delivered vacant. These are the value props of this property. Will be delivered vacant. The unit mix is a bonus. So it's a 1, 3, 1, 2, 2 1s. Okay. They are on individual meters. There's 1 water meter for the entire property, which is pretty standard for this type of build here in Southern California. But let's go into the numbers, okay? So when you're buying real estate, you're solving for one thing, in my opinion. You're solving for cash flow, guys. That is the fundamental component into a good investment, cash flow. You don't want to buy in speculative, right? The fact that you're buying this vacant with no existing income, gross income coming in, then you have to project rents out, right? So that's given. So market rents for this for a 3-1 is $3,500. For the 2 1s, it's $2,500. Okay. This equates to $8,500 a month, guys. Gross income. Gross income. Gross. And that's really, acronym is GPI, gross potential income, because that is not there right now. But this is what the market's bearing. $8,500, okay? Let's go into some return metrics. And this is what I mean. This is a specific buyer to buy this property. This is not your first time home buyer. I truly don't believe this property is for you. I'm sorry to crush your dreams. This is someone who has some capital ready to deploy and park it in an asset that's going to be a long-term investment, not something like a quick flip. No, not at all. This is a great property located in a great location with great potential rents, but it will require some money down along with some rehab, okay? But rehab to the side, let's go into the financials of the deal as far as financing, okay? How you would finance this deal. I was once told the most important part of a deal is how you finance it, okay? So 1.15 is the asking price. Asking price $1,150,000. Okay, $1,150,000. A lender, talked to a couple lenders, anywhere from 20 to 25%. I personally like to be conservative on debt. You don't want to over leverage yourself and create a bad situation with your back against the wall. 25% down, okay? That's $287,000, guys, down. And this is what I mean. It requires some money to put down. But at a 6% note, 30-year note with this down, your payment would come out to $5,171. This is fully amortized. So this is principal and interest. This is not just interest only. So this is what your debt service is. That's called debt service. That's what you pay the lender monthly. Okay? This does not include what? Your property taxes and insurance, which you also have to pay. So let's calculate that. I already did it for you. So your annual property taxes and insurance is going to come out to an additional $16,875. If you divide that by 12, your monthly net on that is $1,406. So you have to add these two together, okay, to get your monthly expense as it pertains to your debt service and your property taxes and insurance, okay, which will equate to $6,577, okay? Keep in mind, this does not include any other expenses on the property, whether that be utilities. I just mentioned it's on one water meter, so you have to pay that water unless you have a system where you're able to charge each tenant based on how much water they use. But this is just property taxes, insurance, and your debt service, okay? We stated that the gross rents are $8,500 projected, okay? Projected, right? $8,500, deduct your $6,577 that we just calculated, and you have what I call a delta that is positive in your favor. In your favor, guys. This is called cash flow. Positive cash flow, not negative, okay? And you're solving for this. Any real estate investor, if you're not solving for cash flow and you're buying on speculative rents, or even though this is speculative rents, but these are market rents, okay? And anyone who is investing in Southern California, who owns any residential in Southern California, knows that these are conservative numbers and there is demand for residential in Southern California. This is a positive cash flow, guys. People literally claim that it is impossible to achieve positive cash flow in Southern California. I just showed you a property that's currently active as of January 2026 that is positive cash flow, guys. Albeit, take into consideration that it requires 25% down. Guys, that's $287,000 plus your closing costs. So cash to close is your down payment plus closing costs. Call it $300,000 easily. Easily. If you have $300,000, call me at 562-273-9375. Email me at richard@revivalestates, and I will walk you through how you can buy this property, have a positive cash flow, and start generating generational wealth on a prime property. I call it prime. Okay. So one thing to also note is that I like cash on cash returns. Okay. So 300,000 down. If you were to get your annual cash flow, annual net. So that's your net right now, right? 1923 times 12. I don't have that figure, but we can get it really quick. 1923. That's your cash flow monthly, right? We multiply that by 12 to get the yearly. 1923 times 12. That's $23,076. You have to divide this by your initial investment to get the cash flow, to get the cash on cash return. So divide that by 300. 1, 2, 3. That's a 7.6%. 7.6% cash on cash return in real estate. Guys, this is not taking into consideration your tax benefits. This is not taking into consideration appreciation. This is taking just cash on cash return, guys. This astronomically goes up when you understand how you could depreciate this property against your earned income. This astronomically goes up when you take into consideration the tax savings. But all things considered, let's put that to the side. That's a 7.6 cash on cash. Compare that to what? A T-bill. Maybe you're like at 4.5%, maybe 5%. This is beating that. In Southern California, in multifamily, where people say that it's unachievable, maybe I just priced this property too low for you. If you have $300,000, and no, it's not priced too low. It's all things are taken into consideration: condition of the property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This thing cash flows because of the amount you put down, which is fine if you have it. You don't want to over leverage yourself, and you see how you're able to cash flow. Period. Any other notes that I have on this deal here? You could also find the cap rate, right? Speculative, because these rents are projected, but they're market. So you can calculate cap rate on this. If 8,500 is your monthly, you multiply this by 12 to get your gross income, yearly gross income. Let me get that for us right now. 8,500 times 12, that's 102,000 gross. You take what's called an expense ratio that a lender would take, anywhere from 25 to 30%. I'm going to do 25% of that. So 75% of 102,000 is $76,500. That's your yearly NOI. That's NOI. You divide that by the purchase price to calculate your cap rate. Divide that by a million. 150, 123. 6.65% cap rate, guys. Not bad. Not bad for a 3-unit in a solid location. Guys, screenshot this. Study up on it. Call me if you have any questions. Please do not waste my time. I just showed you need a hefty down payment, and if you want to really achieve these rents and potentially surpass them, you could account for at least 30 to 50,000 in repairs per unit, guys. So an additional 100 to 150. If you have it, call me. If you don't, this is how you run the numbers on a multifamily investment in Southern California. You're solving for one thing, guys: cash flow. Don't buy on speculative terms. Call me 562-273-9375.